A$AP Rocky has just released his new song D.M.B. After taking a break from releasing studio albums for 4 years, he finally came back today with a new single, and he's released singles since then. He released Sundress, Babushka Boy, but this seems like the rollout to a new album. So guys, we're going to keep you updated with everything from all of the updates with the album review, and much more. So please subscribe if you have not already. But Lou, what is the first thing you notice in this new Rocky return?
It just felt good to hear from Rocky again, bro. I mean, his voice is so refreshing, and I wanted him to bring some charisma, and he does bring that, especially in the first verse. I like the flow switches, and I just like getting that braggadocious energy from Rocky, which is present in a lot of his bangers. I also like the way that he alters his voice frequently throughout the track, especially towards the end when he brought in kind of that chopped and screwed vocal inflection that we kind of have heard from him before. It's signature, and I absolutely love it. But what do you think the best part of the song is for me? Because I think it's personally the beat switch and the smooth tempo transition from his rapping to the more melodic crooning.
Okay, so I believe there's 3 verses in total, if I'm not mistaken. And like, I really do like how, and this is my favorite part of the whole song actually, how he transitions throughout all of these points throughout it. Because example, okay, in the first verse, you're going to get a quick flow switch like midway through the verse, then you're going to get the hook, but then he comes in with a completely different voice that he presented on in the first verse. And then what happens is exactly like you were saying, there's this beautiful switch in production that kind of leads you into a sort of LSD sort of feel, something that I would get on At Long Last A$AP. And I think that's the coolest part about the song too, is like, this is a mixture of all kinds of different Rocky styles. Like, you could, kind of attribute some to like Live Love A$AP, like that sort of more chop and screwed style, and then something more smooth and psychedelic, like, LSD off of At Long Last A$AP.
Yeah.
So I just love the fusion, but do you think this is top tier Rocky at this point?
I mean, I don't know if it's top tier Rocky. I've heard it a couple of times, and at this point, I do think that it's a good song. My only complaint with it would be the hook. I feel like it's not as strong as hook, and maybe it comes in one too many times, in my opinion, in terms of the song structure. But apart from that, like I was saying, the beats were really incredible. I love the New Orleans bounce and the heavy bass you got in the first production, and then the transition was seamless, so effortless from Rocky. And I also like the fact that he sounds literally like 2 completely different artists from that first part compared to when he's crooning on the back end of it. And that's what I love Rocky for, because it reminded me of like a Sundress type performance where he's totally sounding different and he's playing out with his melodies, and it just sounded like it was Rocky experimenting a little bit, which kind of gets me excited to see what All Smiles is going to have in store for us, because if we're going to get this trippy type Rocky with a lot of experimentation, I'm all the way here for it.
Absolutely. And this gets me excited for what's to come with the new album, because All Smiles has been teased for a minute, right? And we've covered a bunch of different videos on it, but it looks like it's finally getting started. So based on this new aesthetic that was presented, do you think this will carry into the studio album? Like, what's your vibe on it
Well,
right
it's
now?
interesting because I feel like Rocky did say it's going to be a ghetto love tale, so I am expecting this in terms of the writing to be elevated compared to his previous works. And on this song, I mean, yes, he does talk about, his riches and the girls he's with and whatever else. But what I do like is the change in mindset. From the first verse, he's kind of has that player mentality of, having fun with certain girls. But then on the second half of the song, you see he gets into a more of a romantic bag, and he's kind of more delicate with his woman. And I like to see that transition. So I wonder what that's going to, play into for the rest of the album. But we'll have to see. What about you, though? What are you expecting out of All Smiles at this point?
Very good question. I think he's going to bring in a bunch of different styles that he's probably done already, but he's going to kind of mesh it in a way where it's a completely new and fresh sound. And based on this, I do think there will be a fair amount of melodic performances on the album, because one, he's super good at them. He's been doing them his whole career, and when he does get into it, it's super slow tempo, and it's not generic melodic rap. It's psychedelic infused, and it almost gets a bit trippy when you're going through it. So I'd love to see more of that crooning. I'd love to see more of, extending his vocals out and having everything breathe. That's another thing I like about the production is like, you listen to A$AP Rocky's vocals, they sound super free. Everything sounds super relaxed and aired out. Like, it's not too complicated of a production, but it's still complex. Like, when you go into the beat and you realize, okay, how many different sounds are going on. So even the engineering was fantastic. But going into this new album, I'm super hyped, because if this is what he's going to be carrying in with, dude, already a great indication at a quality album.
Is it Babushka Boy level for you?
It's different. I think that Babushka Boy was more of a banger, but this is more of like Rocky showcasing his talents as a whole.
Yeah.
Meaning that you'll get rapping, but then you'll also get some voice and flow switches, but then you'll get some more melodic performances towards the end of the track. And then even I think it's more diverse of a production than what Babushka Boy was. But do you see Babushka Boy meshing in on this album, let's say if this was the single in some way?
I don't think so. I feel like that's a totally different type of Rocky, and that was more of just a hype track to get people excited for whatever new music he had on the way at the time. So, I mean, listen, I'm super excited. D.M.B is going to grow on me, I think, with every listen. But guys, let us know in the comment section, what did you think of this song? And as we mentioned earlier, as soon as we get more updates and, you know, anything else that comes within this rollout, we will be keeping you guys updated. So make sure to subscribe if you have not already. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.